IQ. He understands the sport. He looks at it in a mental sense. He knows what he needs to do.
I said, yeah.
Terence got a great chance to beat him, man. You know what I mean? Terence can box, Terence can move, Terence can punch. You know what I mean?
2. In gearing up for the challenge of facing Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford has gone the extra mile, seeking out sparring partners who can mimic the Mexican star's unique style. Among them is Lester Martinez, a seasoned professional known for his
at the top and be at the top. He moves very well. He's a very elusive mover, and his work rate is high.
I won't ask you who's going to win the fight because I know it's a question you've probably been asked a million times, but I will ask you, do you think this fight goes the distance, or do you think this fight ends inside the distance?
Interesting.
Strength and ring intelligence. Martinez have brought pressure and physicality into Crawford's training sessions, an ideal simulation of the type of power and presence Canelo brings to the ring. Those close to the camp say Crawford has handled the sessions with sharpness and control, absorbing Martinez's force while responding with crisp countershots and surgical precision. Sparring with such fighters has helped Crawford adjust to the physical demands of the super middleweight division, ensuring he is not only prepared, but completely at home against a naturally bigger opponent. Anticipation is building fast for what many see as a fascinating stylistic clash. Canelo
have a fight rather than maybe boxing.
No, I don't think there's no pressure on Terence because Terence gonna fight the way that he's used to fighting. So by saying all that stuff that Turkey say or anybody else say, that doesn't bother Terence not one bit. You know, we train for one way, the way we're gonna fight, and that's the way we're gonna get the job done.
When people talk about this fight and they talk about the outcome of the fight, the sort of narrative online is that, look, Terence was moving up in weight, but we all know Terence can crack. When that fight was made with Errol Spence, it was seen as a 50-50 fight, and in reality what it was one of the most destructive performances I've ever seen. Should fans be surprised if Terence could manage to stop Canelo?
I think that fans are going to be surprised when he dismantled Canelo. You know, the more time goes on, the more time Terence can settle into that weight, the worse it's off for the opponent.
The last one for me, because I know this time is now at that minute as you were talking, so I just have one more question. If he manages to get through Canelo Alvarez, does that cement his place on the Mount Rushmore of boxing?
You just answered the question.
Rhetorical.
Canelo Alvarez is a fighter defined by patience and punishment. He stalks his foes with a heavy-footed calm, biding his time before unleashing brutal bodywork and uppercuts that wear down even the most durable opponents. His attack is calculated, forceful, and often devastating. On the other side, Crawford is a master of rhythm and spontaneity. His movements are fluid, his stance switch is seamless, and his punches come from angles that defy convention. He doesn't fight by the book, he writes his own. Analysts agree that this isn't simply a showdown between strength and speed. It's a duel of structure versus spontaneity, control against chaos. Canelo represents measured power, while Crawford embodies creative disruption. That contrast could deliver one of the most tactically...
I asked the great Larry Merchant, I said, do you think Terence Crawford has a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez? And Larry said, Jim, did Ray Leonard get an official decision victory over Marvelous Marvin Hagler? And I said, yes, he did. He said, well, if Ray Leonard could beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler, then Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. And I said, why do you say that? He said, same equation. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Yeah. Over and over and over. He's got to figure the angles and the approaches that will allow him to step in, land to the body, or occasionally upstairs, and then get out. That's what Ray did so effectively against Hagler.
Rich and compelling battles the sport has seen in years. Crawford isn't approaching this fight with a sense of choice. It's instinctual. Rising to the moment is what he's always done. His entire career has been a lesson in perseverance, in adapting under pressure and finding ways to win. For this challenge, he's pushing himself harder than ever, preparing to sustain pace, precision, and focus across a full 12 rounds of elite competition. Meanwhile, Canelo's camp has been just as meticulous. He's brought in swift and...
You know that if he can't touch you, you know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean?
Now, did watching that make you feel like Terence Crawford has better than a 50% chance? After watching, I know we've seen him against Laura back in the day, but now this is supposed to be a new and improved Canelo.
Yeah. I think, like I said, Terence got a great chance to beat him, man. You know what I mean? Terence can box, Terence can move, Terence can punch. You know what I mean? Terence ain't gonna be doing like Skull. Terence gonna fight you. You know what I mean? He's Terence from the streets, man. You know what I mean? He know what to do. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. And I think he's gonna wind up frustrating Canelo. You know what I mean?
So what's the right way? Because Skull was moving too much. Is as soon as he like as soon as you turn him, then is that when you start firing off?
Well, see, the thing is, the right way, the way I would have my fighter doing is I'm boxing him, you know what I mean? And he coming at me, I'm hitting him, pop, 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 pop. And soon he gets set, I'll tie him up, walking to the center. You know what I mean? We cruise to the ropes and do the same thing, good, and keep on frustrating, hit with the jab, boom, boom. Keep on moving, but also hitting him, though. You know what I mean? And he gets frustrated, then he let his guards down. And it's a good night.
Agile sparring partners to replicate Crawford's speed and movement. The aim, to sharpen his timing and prepare for unpredictability. Both sides understand the scale of what's at stake, and both are preparing for nothing less than boxing brilliance .3. Zab Judah, a former world champion, had high praise for Terence Crawford, focusing on his exceptional quickness, timing, and the seamless way he blends speed with power. Judah expressed confidence that Crawford precision could be the key to putting Canelo Alvarez on the floor. He went further, calling...
Well, a lot of people are saying about Crawford's age, but, you know, no boxing, no life, as Canelo would say. And Crawford still, you know, in age, but he ain't took no punishment. He's cautious. You know, he works hard throughout these years, so, you know, of course you're gonna, you know, you gotta count that in the factor. But in his heart, in his mind, in his spirit, he's still youthful about boxing. He loves boxing, and this is one way to get him up. You know, he's a challenge guy. He loves a challenge, and Canelo is the biggest challenge you can get. You know, we got to go up 2 weight classes, really 3 weight classes to get a guy like that. Hardest puncher, great counter puncher, tons of experience, undisputed champion, unified champion, a couple of divisions champion, and so we didn't get the Pacquiao or the Mayweather, but we getting Canelo, and nothing comes easy to Team Crawford, and expect us to look good on the 12th. Expect us to come out victorious September 12th.
No, we obviously just saw his fight against Skull, and people didn't obviously enjoy it, the back foot boxing from Skull and whatever, but what fight can fans expect from Bud? Because a lot of people think that it'll be similar to that or the Charlo fight or whatever like that.
The one thing about Crawford is he got guts. Them bums ain't have no guts. Them bums didn't want to win. Crawford want to win. That's it. It ain't about no belt. It ain't about nothing. You didn't sign the contract. We want to win, and he want to be the best, and he is the best. So that's what's going to be the difference. You know, Crawford got guts. He got a fighting spirit. So when you see Crawford, he going to go in there and get busy with Canelo. Don't you even doubt that. You understand? You ain't never seen Crawford stay on the back foot in no fight in his life. You understand? He the type of guy to go get you. So expect him to go get him. We're going to do everything we can to him. We're going to do whatever we got to do. But one thing you can expect is Crawford is going to step to him, because you can't beat Canelo going on the back foot forever. You got to go get him. You got to do something. And he better know Crawford.
Crawford, one of the rare fighters with both the mental sharpness and physical gifts to genuinely challenge Alvarez. For Judah, this isn't just about Crawford winning rounds. It's about the possibility of him making a resounding statement with a knockout. Derek James, a highly respected voice in the boxing world, offered a more cautionary note for Team Canelo. While acknowledging Alvarez's experience against big punchers and tactical boxers, James warned that Crawford offers something different, a rare blend of fluid motion
from sparring. Like Terence being with Lester Martinez, he's about as good a concoction you could hope for as a sparring partner. I need a guy who can come forward with good timing, who's sharp, who got good power in both hands. Lester Martinez for Terence Crawford. If you're Canelo, I need a guy that can switch. I need a guy with length. I need a guy with power, with skill. He gets Darrell Valsaint, who's 6'1", 154. He switch hits, southpaw, mostly southpaw like Terence, but can switch. Good long. His arms are almost the exact same length as Terence Crawford. And he's a young 23-year-old good athlete. And then I don't know if Canelo's sparring with Marco Verde, who won the silver medal for Mexico, but Marco Verde would, again, 5'11", long arms, southpaw, can switch. I would think between Darrell Valsaint and Marco Verde, Canelo's getting awesome preparation. And then Terence with Lester Martinez. This is speculative, but someone did mention it to me on Twitter when I was talking about Canelo preparing with Valsaint. they go, well, Lester Martinez had to go home with migraines and pull out of a fight, and he was sparring with Terence Crawford. So, I mean, it's speculative, but you're like, well, if you put 2 and 2 together, if he was getting migraines for sparring Terence Crawford and had to pull out of a fight because of it, then that must mean Terence Crawford is doing well in the
motion, sudden explosiveness, and high-pressure poise. He emphasized that Crawford thrives in the spotlight, often reaching another gear in tense situations. James advised Canelo to prepare with total focus, cautioning that taking Crawford lightly could lead to disaster. Jaron Boots Ennis, one of boxing's rising stars, gave his take on the matchup, calling it a true toss-up. He recognized Canelo's strength, size, and track record of the higher weights, but equally praised Crawford's ability to adjust mid-fight, his high ring IQ, and steely mindset. For Ennis, this bout could go either way, as both men have the tools to cancel.
I think Canelo, he likes to go to the same combinations, quite repetitively, whereas Crawford is unpredictable. And despite him not having the size, it's the shots that you don't see that hurt the most. And maybe Crawford can hit him with some unexpected shit. And because of the repetitiveness of Canelo, maybe he can time him. Maybe he can counterpunch with him, because Crawford is unbelievable at that. But I'm fascinated to see if Crawford has the power to get the respect of Canelo Alvarez, because when you don't, it's a long night. It's not nice. Like Crawford did well against Madrimov, and he won that fight for me quite clearly. But Madrimov was countering him. If you can counter the counterpuncher, you can give them a lot of problems when they're not used to that. And Canelo can counter people really well. And as great as Terence Crawford is, we've never seen him in there with someone with the power of Canelo Alvarez. This is a different world of power. And look, maybe Canelo doesn't throw as many shots as he used to, and maybe Crawford might look at that and go, you know what, I'm going to try and outpoint this guy, not get into a war with him, but just show my boxing, genius, and outpoint him and outland him. That's possible. It is. This is why this is such a fascinating matchup, man. We've been treated to some amazing fights. Usyk Fury, for example, this is another one of those